to make you smile, and you need me to hold you close, and all your fears that you dream of will disappear and flutter on. Whoa, hold on just a little. We'll meet right here in the middle ground is where we'll stand. Let go of the riddle, 'cause you'll find life is a riddle that we're not meant to understand. Hold on, stop. Hold on, stop. Just look on, and I'll look down, and all your fears
Get it.
around the ground.
Hello and welcome to the World League Esports Classic. Today is day 3, of course, and with me today I have Olympus. How's it going, bro?
I'm doing well. How about you, Luther?
I am phenomenal. I'm so keen to get into this action. Our very first game that we have for the day for you will be Paleis, which will now be referred to as VP because I refuse to say it on stream, and also DNMK. DNMK coming off of a loss against Bravado yesterday to 7-4. Expected big things from them. Hopefully they've reset their mental for today's fixtures. What are you thinking here going into this match?
I'm thinking that DNMK have a slight edge because they played against Exhale on Cafe. It was a very close match that was just back and forth, and it went 8-6 eventually in their favor. On the side of VP, though, they don't have the best track record this tournament. They got 7-0'd by Bravado yesterday on Chalet, and then they had to unfortunately forfeit the game against Exhale. So I'm thinking that DNMK have a slight edge above them, but that's all speculation. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out, and we're going to start right now as the teams are both ready in the lobby, and we're going to Oregon. This should be, let me see, according to my notes, I think the third Oregon we've seen this tournament, which to me is a good change from the usual Clubhouse and Cafe.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see DNMK go to Oregon. Like you said, I think they do have a slight advantage going into this one. Paleis not having the necessarily proven track record that the DNMK players do have. So we'll just have to wait and see as things kick out. Oregon tends to be quite a strategic map in terms of walls that you have to open up, certain angles you have to hold. So we'll have to see how things get underway. We do have our operator ban phase in action, and the first attacker to go will in fact be a Thatcher, which is not surprising at all. Thatcher, universally useful, carrying out as much utility as possible, even with the nerf that he did receive a couple of seasons back. And who do you have here coming for our second attacker ban?
It's going to be difficult to say. I don't know, maybe a Nomad, I think.
A Nomad. That would be, yeah, I think that's a good one. It's going to actually
It's
be
going
an
to be an
ace.
ace.
Interesting.
I was thinking Nomad because on this map, if you bring a clash, especially when you're defending that laundry basement site, it just becomes such a pain for the attackers to deal with.
Absolutely. Obviously, with the lack of an ace, possibly the best hard breacher on the board, forcing them to go either the Thermite or the Maverick just to get close up and personal with those walls. But also having that Hibana makes it a lot easier to ban trick and the likes of that. Obviously, we will see the Cade off the board with the Thatcher also off the board. Makes a lot of sense. Means the hatches are free real estate for any hard breacher that chooses to come by. And lastly, it's probably going to be a mirror, a Valkyrie. Okay, I quite like that. Denying as much information as possible from the defender side. So DNMK, I would say, are probably well versed or well practiced for this exact ban structure. And we'll have to get straight into it. Where do you think the first side's going to be?
I'm just gonna say that the last time a mirror wasn't banned in this tournament, it was Imperial 7 against Phoenix on the first play day, and it was so difficult for the attackers to deal with the mirror setups that were being brought out by the defense. But that was on Clubhouse, which to some extent is quite different in terms of where you can place those mirror windows. And we'll just see how the defense will decide to use them if they use mirror. And it looks like this time they won't be using her whatsoever. They'll decide to go to kids' dorms. I was gonna say that they would go to the laundry first and then place the mirror in the little closet, because that's like the most standard mirror setup ever. It was so rampant in this game before bans were a thing.
Absolutely. We saw a 6-pick there from the Alibi onto the Frost. That makes a lot of sense just because you are expected to do some window jump-ins here, especially on this top floor of Oregon. And also a 6th pick from a Hibana onto a Thermite, which makes a lot of sense. I guess you want those larger holes, especially with the ace not being in play. You want those easy breaches to be able to walk through. And obviously bringing the Hibana adds that extra risk of those X-Kairos being destroyed before they do their job. Now, Leventus will be picking up the Flores run. I want to see how impactful that is going to be here on the top floor. And notably, Mario is the only hard breacher, though, for DNMK. So if they lose him early, they lose the Diffuser and their only hard breach. So we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. And for now, we're just going to have to see them push their attack. We already see the Thermite and Dandaman on this Ash again, pushing up towards the bedroom. And they're going to open up that wall, or the door rather, and have a peek through. Anybody going for a jiggle peek on the door frame, doesn't look like it. And some more drones going in to provide extra information as they push all the way through into Trophy.
I'm interested at the positioning from Dan the Man, because as the Ash, he has the projectiles from his breaching round. And especially because VP have a bandit on that game's wall, I was thinking she would go underneath, get rid of the charges, so that Mario can get that wall open. But okay, of course, as I say that's exactly what she's done. A good rotation to go downstairs of had the breach going off, and there we go. The wall now starts to get open. But that's not the only hurdle that DNMK will have to deal with on that specific wall, because the Surya gates from Aruni are still active. So they're going to have to chuck maybe some drones or some flashbangs, which they have 6 of, to get into there. Oh, Leonidas gets a pick onto James as he tries to shoot out the Butte Jammer, and then he immediately pushes up and takes back a little bit of that map control. Trophy room is his, and he's holding on to it for now.
Yeah, it seemed like they were actually playing knowing that they were going to lose the wall. Like you said, the bandit was playing more in towards the back of the bomb site, not staying on the wall, and those bandit batteries are going to go quite quickly, as obviously the bandit batteries on the floor with that Ash going below. Dandaman does get the pick onto Leonidas in a very late refrag that leaves us in a 4 versus 4. And as I said, that Popeye will get one, but Dandaman will frag out onto Elite. Dandaman getting the first 2 picks, but as I say that, he gets down and outed by Sensor on that Jaeger. It is now a 3v2 in favor of the defense. Let's have a look at how this pans out. We still have Short Like Mozzie playing in towards Kid's Dorm. A pre-fire through the window does not connect, but Mario is very much in attic, ready to push through with that diffuser in hand. However, the Aruni is holding him back. He has managed to cross over successfully, but Leventus will get Popeye. That leaves us in a 2 versus 2 with 43 seconds left on the clock. As I said, Mario will get the next pick onto Sensor. And it is just like short, like Mozzie on this Rooney. P10 Roni in hand. Diffuser is in sight. You can hear a silenced pistol going off there, and Mario getting that diffuser down. 30 seconds left on the clock. All to do here for short, like Mozzie. Goes for a quick rotate through into the attic. Planted in a very default spot. Waits for the peek from Thermite. Will pick him off with a very nice headshot. Only one more to find. He is behind Bunks. And he comes out with the clutch. Short like Mozzie with a banger first round.
That was a phenomenal clutch from him, because in that situation, I definitely thought DNMK had the upper hand. They had the diffuser planted, they had the numbers, but in such a situation, when you're on the back foot, you take your 1v1 gunfights, you isolate the attackers, just as we saw shot like Mozzie doing, and you make quick work of them with that Roni, and it gives them their first round. I want to say that that round went... or rather, the action in that round came rather quickly. In the first minute and a half, there were a lot of bodies meeting the floor, and it was just a back and forth between these two teams, which I love to see. The refrag game from both of them is so far impeccable.
Yeah, I would have to agree there. Like you said, it was a very slow start. The setup was meticulously planned out by the attackers. And when it came down to the execute, it was an all-out frag fest with the refrags dropping in the space of seconds. Now following that, and we will now go to the downstairs side, the basement, inside of the garage and the laundry. We can see a pretty standard setup I would expect here. Mirror again brought out this time, and I expect to see a mirror on this little cubby wall. Not sure where the other one will be, likely looking in towards the laundry, as that's a pretty default setup. Oh, and let's have a look at Mute, opening up some sight lines, so potentially even going to be placed looking in down towards this western side of the map. Jaeger still on the board, more so than we've seen in the previous play days, being negated somewhat when we have no idea why, but also doubling down with the Wamai. So let's have a look at how they set things up here.
An interesting setup for sure coming out from VP in their defense. I always love to see how this smoke is played. Sometimes we have them in that little elbow in the blue where Wamai currently is standing with a shield and a lot of nade denial utility, as you can see Elite here set up. He has a mute jammer even to help him. So sometimes when players get flashed out of that position, they just rotate back into sight and then reinforce it. So we'll see whether they're able to live long enough to do that. On the side of DNMK though, they have started taking some control of the map, as Big Tower is surely theirs. There isn't much of a roam presence coming out from VP, so they will be able to get as much control as they need of that middle floor in as quick time as they possibly can. Leonidas right now is set at the bottom of the freezer stairs with his shotgun in hand, which is going to be deadly for anyone who tries to push him close by.
In comes the Ratero drone, likely to clear out that mirror window. And yes, it's actually going to go all the way inside. Look for a pick, and the bandit may just be dead. No, the Jaeger, he will actually turn around, and there we go. It does actually get Mew Jam, and see the Mew Jam sitting there next to Elite. Will stop the Ratero drone in its tracks. Wamai, the perfect operator to play this elbow position, as his discs just keep generating. There comes the second drone, and the flashbangs go in. 1, 2 are caught there by the disc, and the next drone also caught by the Mew Jammer. So a bit of wasted utility there coming out from the attackers, and time is dwindling. Less than half the round to go. Mario has, however, swung in, gets the Mew Jammer, and you can hear the drone about to go off. And it does indeed. However, no damage taken by anybody. And as I said, Leonidas gets the first pump off onto Edward, sending him to the grave. There we have a now 5 versus 4. As I said, Elite going to make it a 5 versus 3. But Leventus on a quick refrag onto center. The hip fire comes out from Elite as he tries to fall back in towards the side. Will not have time to reinforce. But Jameis swings quickly into sight, and he will pick up Elite. Danderman gets one more onto Leonidas, leaving us in a 3v2 as they turn the tables once more into the attackers' favor. Only the mirror and Mute left to survive here. 46 seconds left on the clock, and they don't have map control in place now. The C4 will grip, but Danderman will shut him down before it sends flying. Now, again, short like Mozzie, last alive. SMG 11 in hand. What can he do? The mirror window is working against it, but Yana sees him try swing down the hallway. Will not be the case. Sees one, manages to get off Danderman. Now, he will be instantly shut down by JMS on the long angle with that 2-time scope in hand. He was not winning this gunfight.
Yeah, at that range with an SMG-11, when you have a G36C barreling down your face, you don't have much chance unless you have inhuman reactions from from people like Shaiko and the likes. But that was a good round from both teams. I appreciate the setup that was being brought out by VP's defense. They had a bunch of utility set up in that elbow as well as the mirror windows, and they had good positioning. Leonidas is the person I had first talked about at the bottom of Freezer stairs. His shotgun, we saw him get one kill from it. But the thing is, DNMK read into that setup beautifully. They saw all that utility and they said, hey, we can't deal with that mirror window that's facing the laundry stairs, so let's take it from the construction and tower side. And that's exactly what they did. Granted, they did lose a bit of utility and some few bodies trying to get just control of elbow, but once they had that mirror window opened, it was, I guess, easy pickings from them, because that position we saw James getting that last kill on shot like Mozzie granted him so much control. He was cutting off the rotates from the A bomb site and also from Freezer. So good reading from both teams, and now they are tied 1-1. VP will be attempting to go back downstairs, but this time they won't be bringing a mirror. Instead, there's going to be an alibi, and the rest of their setup remains more or less exactly the same. DNMK have brought the same operators they had from last time. If it's not broke, don't try to fix it.
Absolutely. I was quite surprised to see that JMS was allowed to run into site and get that pick onto Elite as well, as he was trying to rotate through the wall into sites, because I mean there were two players stacked upside there inside the cubby, and Ash was literally allowed to walk in along with the Yana. But hopefully they rectify that. There comes the first flashbang. Does get caught. Second flashbang also goes, but Elite's still in position here with the orb in hand. Shield still up. 2 ADSs are still there as well. So still all this investment. There goes the first drone, and it does get close enough. Does not get the pick, and will get the ADSs as well as the shield. Now, with that being said, Sensor will get the first pick onto Dandaman, who was fragging out like crazy in the previous round, rather. And now Sensor also very low on HP. Quick rotate from Leonidas as the second drone comes in, trying to get rid of him, but it does make him move at the slightest. Now Elite has actually fallen back towards the pillar, gets a drone, so denying that little bit of intel, and he's going to be playing to defend the back attic stairs.
Sensei is the only one who have got a kill for his team this round, but at what cost? He's on such low HP, and so is Leonidas as that G36C starts to sing from the bottom of tower stairs. Leventis finally finishes off Leventis. James adds on to the kill feed as Leonidas is eliminated. That's the smoke off the board as well. It's continuing to fall apart here for VP as it's Popeye and shot like Mozzie once again left in this clutch situation. They have about a minute and 20 seconds to work with, but that's so much time that also DNMK have to set up this execute, as they're going to bide their time and make sure they have intel on exactly where each of these defenders are. Edward is having his sights trained exactly on where Popeye is, and as soon as he pops out, actually Popeye gets the kill onto Edward. Mario attempts to go for the plant. James finally finishes off Popeye. The diffuser is on the ground successfully. It's a story we've been seeing on all these rounds so far. Shot like Mozzie is the last one on his team. He has an SMG-11, a shotgun, and a Dream. No C4, so no denial on his part. He goes for swing, gets the Iana. James is gone. It's up to Mario and the Vent. It's a 1v2, and suddenly it's also winnable for Mozzie, because we've seen this situation in round 1.
Yeah, unfortunately, with this time ticking down, he needs at least 8 seconds to defuse, and as you can see, there's 10 seconds on the clock. He needs to find 2 kills in 2 seconds, and he will not do so. He's going to play for his KDA. Does get almost another pick onto the thermite down the barrel, but no, the shotgun will not hit it at that range. The 5.56 XI will clean things up here at the last moment. Diffuser, of course, was down, so that's another attacker win. Very well played there to DNMK. Their strategy and their gunfights really coming through. You can see all those drones rolling around site, providing all the information to the boys getting the picks. Now, the thing is, will they go back down to the basement? Will not be the case, as they have played 3 rounds. They will, in fact, go back up to the double dorms. Now we do see the Frost and Aruni come out again as they look to play the same operator lineup that we saw at the first.
It's just interesting to me that shot like Mozzie keeps on being the last man alive each and every single round. And I guess at some point it gets frustrating because you feel like your teammates are quote unquote letting you down and leaving you in clutch situations all the damn time. And we've said we've said time and time again, you cannot always rely on the boy wonder, the star plays, the clutches, the miracle, round savers to be your saving grace because those things they're not that consistent. They're not a reliable and sustainable way to consistently win rounds. So I feel like what we need to see is a little bit more, I don't know if I could call it survivability or maybe a better frag and refrag game from VP so that they are the ones who end up with the man advantage when it's coming down to the wire.
Absolutely. I mean, clutches are always amazing because they're just that. They're clutches. They're not supposed to happen every round. So when they do, it is a bit of a miracle sort of situation. So we can't rely on short like Mozzie to clutch out with that SMG 11 every time. Now, as I said, we will be going back up to double dorms. You can see the investment there in towards the attic. And actually a change of shield here. The Frost puts the shield down looking towards Trophy. I do wonder if the Mute Jam is on the same place because I know Leonidas got that opening pick as the Yana or the Ash, I think, tried to swing to pick off the Mute Jammer. Sensor is actually lurking below inside of Classroom. So as you may recall, that is where the Ash goes below to Ash those Vandal batteries out of the way to allow his Hard Breacher to do what needs to be done. Popeye now also coming on a rotate down the dorms stairs. And as you can see, all X-Kairos pellets have been deployed on the attic wall. And there we go. There is opening towards attic. The sight lines are there. And the sights are trained towards the back elbow side. There goes the first C4. Will it connect? No, it will actually shot out the air, but there's a player to your right. And no, Danderman will get the one, but Elite has also picked up a refrag onto the Mute. The Ivana off the board, but her job has already been done. 4 versus 4, half the round now gone, and Sensor still lurking below.
Sensor and Popeye are still going to be a deciding factor in how this round plays out. I do love the way DNMK are deciding to attack this. They have a split push from here in this closet in games room and also in attic. But like I said, Sensei and Popeye, they're still on the roam. They still have the round to go. And they could be pulling off a sneaky flank on players like Marion, players like Dandeman, who currently have their sights trained on all the anchors in sight. Elite is on literally a breath of HP, so it's essentially a 3v4 at this point, as Edward is the only one from the side of DNMK who got felled. Like you said, he had got his job done already as the Hibana, but he could still have been impactful with that Type 89, which is a very powerful weapon.
Oh, quite unfortunate. You said he was on a breath of HP. The server decided to boot him out. And that's very unfortunate there for Elite. However, I still have faith in the rest of these defenders. Full HP on their sides, and the pre-fires do ring through, but do not hit any shots just yet. Sensor has now rotated to fill in for Elite's position there in towards the attic. Mario trying to go for that defuse, and he is getting it down. James on the cover will find Sensor, and that is the Jaeger off the board. Last alive is Popeye, and short like Mozzie once more. P10 Roni in hand. He's looking for an angle towards the attic, but will not get one. Another 9mm staring down in towards the side, and there is the pre-fire that you hear from that R4C. Will not connect onto anything. At this point, they are just shooting at wherever they think a head may be. Mario does take some HP damage, it's about 75. Short like Mozzie does get one into Leventus though, and that's the attic cover gone. However, the time is ticking down. Short like Mozzie does get fouled by Dan, the man with an R4C. As I said before, last alive is the Frost of Popeye. Will he hit the shots? He won't. It will be Mario on the cross to find him. One more time. Timeout is called by short like Mozzie, as we're going to allow some time now for the missing player of Elite to get back into the server. But my goodness, DNMK looking like they're building up a lot of momentum.
The scoreline being 3-1, I would definitely agree with you that the momentum right now is in the hands of DNMK. And I feel like, once again, the refrag game from VP is almost there, but it's not quite, because that last round it started with them getting the opening pick onto Edward, but the refrag from and the cover coming out from DNMK was just beautiful. The C4 you remember from games being tossed out onto that balcony was I would be cautious to call it a risky play, but he tried to do what anyone could possibly do in that situation. But like you said, there was Mario right there to his right. He got him immediately without that C4 doing much of anything except being shot through the air. And yeah, DNMK looking solid right now. And even though we say that these maps tend to be defender-sided, we expect the scoreline to be more like 3-1 in the favor of VP, not in the favor of DNMK. So I'm kind of afraid for what this means for the rest of this game.
Yeah, this is going to, of course, be a best-of-3 matchup as we move towards our playoff brackets. So at least this is not down and out for VP if they tank one map. This could, of course, be DNMK's map pick. So to see them flourishing here would not be surprising whatsoever. We will go back to double dorms. And I want to see if there's going to be any sort of adaptation to the bomb site. I mean, obviously, Elite unfortunately got booted from the server. So I think had he been up, they would have had a little bit more resistance. He could have sent a couple of bullets flying towards the attic and not just been instantly sent out of the server. But we'll have to wait and see. Elysian has actually been picked up now for the first time by Popeye instead of that Frost. I wonder what sort of difference that's going to make in towards stunting the attackers pushing into site here.
I'm curious as to what you think of a Frost pick on this map specifically, because I feel like on Chalet is where Frost tends to flourish. On that map, the entry points from outside are so... Most of them are vault prompts. Most of them are windows you have to jump through. So I feel like that's where Frost could potentially be more used than on a map like this one. What do you think?
So I think that VP are putting these Frost mats... Oh no. Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Narrowly, like, if he had X-ray vision, he would know that he was looking at the head of DNMK. But no, back onto your point. I think that VP are placing their Frost mats in very default spots. So on that attic step, we know it's going to be there. You see that in ranked all the time. That's not surprising at all. Underneath the window is also pretty standard. But again, there's nobody entering in through the attic, or not the attic, the dorm's window. So those Frost mats are a bit wasted. So you only essentially play her for her gun. The adaptation of bringing the Legion is going to be phenomenal. Obviously, you are less likely to see those Legion glue mines littered around site than you are to see those Frost mats. Also, you get a little bit more from that. Now, I divulge here, but DNMK has lost his life to a rogue Jaeger playing inside the armory, which is quite interesting that he was not burnt out properly enough, or maybe he was just quiet enough to hide in the corner. Half the round now has elapsed, and Popeye still on the rim down below with Short like Muzzy playing this Roni in the same spot, trying to delay any sort of push coming from the attic side. Now Mario is trying to get rid of the Jaeger that he thinks is still playing inside of armory, and he is indeed. The flashbangs go in, 2 of them in fact, and he does not swing in time. The sensor does not lose life. Elite does drop JMS, but Mario drops sensor in a quick refrag. They are completely unrelated now. 4 versus 3 in favor of the defense with a minute left on the clock. How do you think this is playing out?
This is the first time I think that we've seen the man count going in the favor of VP. So with a minute to go, it's up to DNMK to lose this round. They have been playing so well together. They're very well coordinated. We saw Mario and Leventis working together to get rid of Sensei in Armory. And as I say that, Edward gets another pick. So now the man count is completely even. Of course, as I say that, it continues to tumble. And once again, it's even. Leonidas gets Mario before Elite is eliminated by Edward. That's a 2K for him this round. It's 36 seconds left to go, though Leonidas is sitting right on top of the diffuser, and he has that M590 shotgun to boot. He peeks, but it's such a long angle for that shotgun to do anything. Edward has yet another kill for himself this round. He has the diffuser in hand. He has Leventis for cover. All he has to do is go for the plant. Popeye is the last man left alive here. He has the T5 SMG, a very capable weapon. He also has 2 goo mines and an impact grenade. More than enough utility for him to attempt to do something here. Edward is not planting default, instead has planted next to that B bomb site on the door, and now it's 40 seconds left for this scoreline to either go 3-2 or 4-1.
My goodness, you can tell they knew exactly where Popeye was coming from. Oh my goodness, he gets the flashbang kill, but he will remain flashed as that AR-33 will take his life. I was going to say that the attackers knew exactly where he was coming from. You saw the rotate from the Hibana to move into that off default position, like you said, and the Flores was in the perfect position to cut off that rotate from the Bandit. So very unfortunate there, but very well played to DNMK, showing they have what it takes to run it 4 rounds now in a row, and they are building up the momentum. If we see this we see this carry on into map 2. I think we may even see a 2-0. Can't believe that Legion got the flashbang kill. I'm not sure if he saw it before he was flashed or he just pre-fired it, but my goodness, nearly clutched it up there had the flash not lasted that long.
It's very interesting and entertaining, I should say, to watch DNMK play the way that they do. I feel like their synergy is just on a whole other level. When they were playing against, who was it? It was Exhale, I think, on Cafe. Yeah, it was so interesting when Exhale brought out a clash, and then we're watching, was it Dandeman and Edward playing together to coordinate and get that clash essentially circled and then finally killed. And that's the same thing I'm witnessing the way they got rid of Sensor in that armory. Leventis on the rappel, Mario with the flashbangs at the top of those armory stairs. Mwah! Just beautiful coordination and teamwork from this squad. Compared to VP, I would say they are the more experienced team just because I've seen DNMK in previous World League esports tournaments. VP right now are kind of floundering as they only have one round and they don't look like they are on that same page. They're not on the same wavelength of just being in sync. That X factor of synergy, I don't know if I'm getting the point across.
Oh no, how unfortunate. When you focus too much on the drone hunting and you have a rogue R4C bullet find your head. Incredibly unfortunate there from Center. He'll have to sit out of this round and just man as many cameras as possible that tend to stay up. As you were saying, DNMK do have a little bit more experience, a little bit more synergy. You can see their strategies are a bit more well fleshed out along with a drone game. So obviously VP are playing up against it here. A tall task ahead of them trying to break the rolling stone that is DNMK. We are back down to the basement as VP are really struggling to find a bomb site that they are comfortable on, if they're comfortable that their strategies are sufficient enough to stunt this DNMK defense. And Elite, why are you swinging? James hits the shot with that G36. He will find another one onto Papa as he goes crazy down here in towards the bottom of Freezer. Now, Supply Closet is the position for short like Muzzy. Again, he looks to be the last one alive, almost, if Leonidas hits the deck. These two SAS operators still up there, SMG 11s in hand, and they're going to have to fight up against 5 DNMK members hungry for blood. It is quite notable that DNMK have managed to get the defuse done in every round they have won so far. James picks up a triple for himself, gets rid of the smoke web that was at his feet, not that it could be triggered at all, and you can hear the pre-fires coming through. Diffuser down, and this looks to be another DNMK victory, and as I said, it's going to be a flawless round as they pick up another round to make it 5-1 into the split.
Flawless round for DNMK. They didn't lose a single body on that attack, and I feel like they are just reading so well into the defense from VP. They've gone to Laundry thrice and they haven't won a single one, despite them changing things up every single time, bringing a mirror, bringing an alibi and so on. It's just not good enough to stop this coordination and this strategic play that we're seeing coming out from DNMK. The rounds have now got to the point where we switch. So DNMK are the ones who are going to be defending, and they will choose to start with Kid's bedroom. I wonder if they're going to have that kind of aggressive playstyle they had, at least in that last round, because a lot of the kills came out when there was still a minute and 30 on the clock.
What I'd like to see is that these teams are showing their individualities in terms of strategies and operator lineups. We can see now Hibana and the Thermite on the board for VP. So obviously prioritizing the hard breach on this top site with a Nomad in place as well. We didn't see Nomad run too much from DNMK in terms of that flank denial, but not that there was any flanks coming out from VP. Now, DNMK have picked up a Goyo as well as the Malusi. So the South African operator making her debut in this game so far. Let's see where those Banshees are placed. We can see one in the main bedroom here, just to delay the push somewhat and allow for maybe a jiggle peek from the trophy door. And also the Goyo in play. I wonder where those shields are set up. Vector in hand, he will look to be roaming downstairs. Obviously the fire rate is king in a game that has one-shot headshots. A Goyo shield actually positioned inside of the kitchen, so looking to hold the kitchen below the bomb site. That's quite an interesting adaptation that we've not seen from previous teams.
I'm also curious as to how or why some of these teams are choosing not to go with Zofia for her destruction and instead relying on those Rotero drones from Flores. I don't know, Luta, if you have any thoughts into the insight that could inspire such decisions.
At this point, it made sense to bring the mute because the mute was muting out those retro drones. As you said, the Zofia charges could have likely dealt with those ADSs and those shields that were in place, and even the mute jammer. The only risk is obviously that the ADSs catch the Zofia stuns or impacts as they go through. Danderman first lose HP here in the first round on the switch, and he's actually playing behind the shield in just outside of the kids' dorms area. Now, Hibana has gotten to work on the attic wall. There you can see it's opened up. And now we have Popeye putting those air dabs in place, trying to cause as much destruction as possible. Flashbang will go in. Will it blind the smoke? It will not, but he has a crawl hole to make it through back inside should he need to do it. Back on your point on the Zofia, though, I do think it would have been a great pick. If you know how to shoot it, you have to shoot it in front of the wall where the ADS can't essentially see it to get rid of that shield. But I mean, not sure that much thought was given into the pick just yet. Obviously, they're quite set in their strategies that have been pre-set out by their coach to use that Flores, so they are sticking to that right now. First of all, was Elite on the Thermite roll. He's going to be a spectator for the rest of this round. Just a minute left, but the Defuser is in fact down now. I think they saw Mario cross, but did not the shot. There's the Ash. He does find Danderman, gets one more with that SMG 11 onto Popeye. It's a 5 versus 2, and as I said, that it's a 5 versus 1. DNMK flourishing here in Oregon.
It's a 4v1 as Leonidas gets at least one kill, so it won't be yet another flawless round for DNMK. But as you said, they are flourishing right now. They have the Defuser, they are sitting right on top of it, and there's still so much utility here in the attic for Leonidas to deal with his 30 seconds to go and his 2 remaining Rotero drones. I don't think he has much hopes of recovering this round. Maybe he could do a little bit of stat padding, or he could take the time to talk with his teammates and figure out what adaptations they can make, maybe some changes they could possibly try to make to see if they have a decent chance at winning this, because we're now sitting at the precipice of match point, and if DNMK win just one more round, that's going to be it for VP in their groups, as I don't believe they have won a single game so far. They got 7-0'd by Bravado on Chalet, and then they had to forfeit their game against Exhale. So right now it's really do or die for them.
Popeye in chat saying Neo Owens. Omen's shame. It's okay. You're out here. You're doing the most for your team. Like you said, 6-1 staring down the barrel here of this map point. And my goodness, I'm not sure what they can do here to bring it back. They'll have to win 5 rounds in a row, and to try and do that against a team that has just won 6 rounds in a row is a tall task to ask of this attacking team. Now, I don't know who needs to stand up. If we could have the scoreboard up real quick, we can have a look at the kills that have been dropped here. So everyone being limited to about 3 to 4 kills here on the side of VP. With DNMK, 9 kills for JMS and Danderman. Their entry frag game has been on point, and the rest of the team dropping 5 kills. So all more than the rest of VP as well. So it seems like the gunfights are just not going in the way of VP, which is very unfortunate. Perhaps it's their refragability, maybe it's the communication that DNMK has just well versed in. We'll have to wait and see. Now, an offside being picked here, we're going to kitchen and dining. So completely switching up, flipping up the script here is DNMK. Obviously, we're assuming that, yeah, that's correct. We're assuming that the attack is not prepared for a basement or a top floor attack. Going to kitchen should be quite interesting, although they do have the operators to do what needs to be done here. I would say the first protocol would probably be get into small tower, open up the wall, and try and get as much utility off as possible.
Yeah, but as soon as you get into the small tower, you then have to deal with the setup that's in the dining room, and that's not always the easiest thing to do. I just want to mention that this and production will correct me if I'm wrong on this, but this is the last group stage, so it's just going to be a best of 1. The other matches that we have today are going to be Vibin Esports against VP, which will be the first quarterfinals at 3 p.m. And then Sinister 5 versus XL Gaming second quarter final at 6 p.m. and those will be best of threes.
I'm not entirely certain myself. Ooh, Malusi loses a life there to Leonidas. AR-33 kicks out and knocks her block off. Jameis looking to rotate now as the defense are finally put at some sort of a disadvantage. But as I said that Mario will rotate up the dorm's stairs with an SMG-11, he gets one pick. Will the C4 get another? It will not. And a quick rotate made by DNMK. He looks to open up a sideline. But Jameis will rotate as well and finds Popeye. So that is the nomad of the world. That means no more air jumps to be placed. Those flashbangs die in the pocket. Leonidas going to put those radar drones now to use. Not sure exactly what he's blowing up. It is again now the number count in favor of DNMK as we fought a moment of pacificity. And as I said, that James says, no, we're not here to play passive. We're here to frag out the 416. He claims another life, putting these attackers down. And as I said, Leonidas gets absolutely pumped by the pump action shotgun. That M590 is so brutal at that range. Last alive is short like Mozzie on this Ash. What can he do here to reclaim some sort of dignity for his team?
Once again, Short Like Mozzie is the last man left alive, and he has the weight of a mountain on his shoulders. As those gas canisters start going off, you can hear the pre-fires coming off every single direction he could possibly try to look for. He's not finding any wins. He's not finding any kills either, as DNMK are playing it absolutely safe. Mario's still at the top of those white stairs with that SMG-11. We've seen what kind of kills he can get at that range with the weapon, but it's James to seal the deal. And GG's go out in chat as that's another win for DNMK. They take it 7-1.
My goodness, an absolutely dominant performance there coming out from DNMK, bringing it back and showing that they do have what it takes to compete at this level. I mean, bouncing back from that game that we saw they played yesterday against, who was it? I think it was was it Bravado? I think it was Bravado. Yes, DNMK versus Bravado. That's correct.
Yeah.
So being able to reset their mental, come back swinging here out on Oregon was an absolutely phenomenal feat.
Oh yeah, I loved to watch this game if I was a DNMK fan. Not so much if I was a fan for VP, but nonetheless it was entertaining to see the different flavors of playstyles. Like you said, the individuality from both of these teams has been a banger to watch. The next game, like I said, will be at 3 p.m. and that will be Vibin Esports versus VP once again in the first quarter finals. So we'll see you then.
Thanks, guys.